This is a short bite episode of Homeschool Together. Hello and welcome to Homeschool Together. Ha ha ha, we're at the movies. Hey Ariel, did you see that new Jordan Peele movie? Nope.
Wow, you set yourself up for that one.
Oh my gosh, I did.
I thought the better thing was
I can't wait to see that movie, might I add.
Because
Ariel, tell the people.
I thought we were gonna start. I thought we were gonna start with Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Chip and Dale when there's danger.
So we went to the movies digitally at home.
That's right.
And saw the new Chip and Dale's movie. Oh, first of all, Ariel, tell them why Nope is going to keep me up for 2 straight days.
Oh yeah, Matt has a thing about alien abductions.
Oh my God, alien abductions.
He's very scared about it. But
like
let's get back to
The Fourth Kind, Fire in the Sky. Those are nightmare fuel for me.
He can't take. But
he
loves other kinds of horror.
I love
movies.
watching them. I love watching them.
Yeah, I'm not watching that with you.
Okay,
you're watching it by yourself.
So we went.
That's a big nope from me.
That's a big nope from you.
But anyway, to get back to family movie night, we watched a couple of really great movies. We watched the new Chip and Dale movie, and we watched the Seabeast. So Chip and Dale was on Disney Plus, and Seabeast is on Netflix. Nice. And so we like to do these short bites when we watch a really cool new movie, because we like to tell you if it was, any good and worth your time.
At the movies,
Right. So the first one was Chip and Dale, which, if you're a children of the 80s, 90s, as we are, you'll remember the classic show from Disney Afternoons. Chip and Dale are played by
Andy Samberg and Mick Mulvaney, who's a comedian.
Right. Yeah. So they're both comedians. So they're pretty funny. And it's funny because this is like...
It's very meta.
It's very, very meta. In fact, we as adults, I think, our kids really enjoyed it because it had good action and stuff, and they were interested in animated characters. But we got a lot out of it because it was
80s and 90s references.
Oh yeah, so it was Chip and Dale 30 years later, and Chip is like an insurance salesman, yes. And Dale is running the Comic-Con scene, but he's only by himself, and he's gotten the CGI surgery, so he's CGI'd, whereas Chip is still hand-drawn animation.
But they're in a live action world. So if you remember, it's sort of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where there were live actors, and then there are these animated characters on the screen. And there's so many animated characters.
And they have a bunch of different animated characters from Disney properties and things.
You start, Disney and Fox properties. That was the real thing, is you saw all the Disney properties, but then you realize, wait a minute, that's a Fox property. And you're like, wow, you just realize again how much stuff Disney owns. Right.
It was really cool. Yeah. And they brought back, the other characters from the show, and they had to go and work together to solve a real case. And the whole thing was strewn through with Disney characters. So it was funny because our daughter was like, "Is that Peter Pan?" I was like, "Yep, that is Peter Pan."
And Peter Pan plays this overweight kind of 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, he's an older guy, and
he's all disgruntled and angry. And
yeah, well, it was funny because they had what was
the guy who played Peter Pan when he was younger. It's so very funny.
There's some really good stuff in it, and there's when he's doing the Comic-Con scene when Chip is doing that, there's
Baloo there.
Yeah, and there's what was it? Weird Teeth Sonic before they altered Sonic's face from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Everyone knows the Sonic saga. They came out with Sonic, the trailer, and they had this weird mouth and eyes, and people lost their mind because of that kind of weird uncanny valley thing. And
it made it look really strange.
It looked very strange, and they went back and reanimated the whole movie to fix those issues before they released the movie. And so the guy who's in the Comic-Con was a Weird Teeth Sonic before they made the new Sonic. And he's going around the Comic-Con signing posters as Weird Teeth Sonic guy.
So it's all this kind of stuff.
It's very funny.
The cool thing was lots of cool gags. Nothing really super inappropriate or anything for the kids. It was totally appropriate for the kids.
Very, very.
There was lots of action.
A lot of action.
Yeah, the whole plot was that there was a bad guy who was giving
they were stealing cartoon characters and sending them overseas and giving them surgeries to be these really bad knockoff versions of those characters.
Right. They would like make a knockoff version of the Little Mermaid. And so they would alter.
Like Fish Girl. They call it Fish Girl. And she's like kind of different. She's kind of like 2 arms. Or
Yeah. They're all just kind of like a little
strange.
off. They like kidnapped Flounder was one of the ones that got kidnapped.
Exactly.
So it was really cool because there was all these Disney properties that our kids recognized. And then there's all these meta references that we were getting as adults. It was a great kind of dual layer movie.
Yeah.
It had a lot of action. And we laughed through most of it.
Most of it.
So it was pretty good. So if you have Disney Plus, we recommend you check out Chip and Dale. It was worth the time, I thought.
And what we'll do is right out of that, Ariel went to YouTube and we pulled up
Oh my gosh.
the trailers. Or not the trailers,
We
but the opening,
pulled up the theme song of this one first.
Yeah,
It started with this one.
Yeah, we showed it to our daughters, and they were like, "Wow, that show looks
and
amazing."
then like YouTube did the autoplay as it does, right? So we played Chip and Dale,
Top
and then
1980s,
and then it started playing, and it was like
opening credits for cartoons, and Arrow and I were like nailing every.
Yeah,
word.
we knew it all. All of a sudden, we're looking at each other, and we were like,
I normally don't know a lot of lyrics because I don't do good at memorizing things. But then all of a sudden, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles song came on.
He knew all the words, you guys, as if it had not been 35 years.
She looked over to me and she goes, "How do you even know like all the side quotes? Like, when they're singing the song, I could not even tell you what they are. But when you play it, I would sing it straight on through."
Yeah, it was pretty funny. At one point,
that was like deep memories.
At one point, the music started and we looked at each other, and all of a sudden, it was like, DuckTales, ooh, and we were singing the whole thing, and we were singing the entire thing together.
Just like, what are mommy and daddy doing? This is very strange.
Rewrite history, DuckTales.
So
every day they're out there making DuckTales. We did Captain Planet, Care Bears. Oh my gosh, there was what was G.I. Joe, and there was another one that we saw.
We started going for the really obscure stuff like Dino Riders.
Oh man, there was all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
there was all kinds of stuff, but our kids thought it was the funniest thing. So it definitely did get us into like a 90s YouTube,
late 80s, early
death
90s.
spiral. But yeah, Chip and Dale was a good movie, and
we realized how long the Chip and Dale's intro is. Like that song was
a really long
2.5 minutes long.
It was really long, but it was good, and we remembered all of it.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was good. What I wouldn't say that it was good for, I know that our 6-year-old really dug it. We watched it as well. Our 3-year-old, she got kind of bored with it. So I think that definitely you want to get kind of the 6, 7 and above would like the movie a bit better. I think it was a little bit complex for our younger daughter. She just didn't understand what was going on.
They really embraced the kind of reboot. Like you could have just made a Chip and Dale's movie, right? And
you could have.
Where you just basically redo the show, but in 90-minute format. But they really took the idea of, Chip and Dale's and these 80s shows as being real. What if these characters were real people or real thing? What if the world was inhabited by, chipmunks that could actually talk,
right?
And bears that starred in the Jungle Book, right?
Yeah,
Baloo was a big thing at Comic-Con.
Yeah, he was an actor that starred in the Jungle Book. It was very funny,
and he got the CGI treatment from the 80s. He got the CGI treatment, and he starred in the Jon Favreau version of
the
Baloo.
Jungle Book.
It's just so. It was just wonderfully done. It was a very creative idea to take the idea,
they were all actors. It was very cool.
take the idea of a reboot or a rehash of something that was old and just really reinvigorate it in something that was just very lively and creative. I really thought it was a really cool way to do that.
Yep, it definitely was.
Following on Netflix, there's a brand new movie about if you're into monsters and kaiju. They have a great show called Seabeast, and the thing that I thought was really cool about Seabeast was, if you guys are a family that enjoys pirates and you want a fresh take on the idea of pirates, this is the movie. Like it took, if you took, I'm gonna really upset some people, but if you took Moby Dick and you crossed it with like Pirates of the Caribbean and you mixed in a little bit of Pacific Rim, that's kind of what this show is.
But animated.
Like. Yeah. So they're these pirates kind of crew on a boat, but they are out there to hunt these sea monsters, as if they're sort of like whales. And
the sea monsters are threatening the coastlines. So their job is they're the hunters.
Back the sea monsters.
Yeah, so they go out there and they hunt the sea monsters so that they don't, sink the ships. And this young girl who's an orphan, she's been dreaming of life aboard one of these ships.
To be a hunter.
Yeah. Her parents were hunters. And so she ends up stowing away aboard a ship. And so that. But what we really loved about it, it's got great messaging. The animation is beautiful. One of the things that was really cool is the pirate ship is specially outfitted for
hunting large monster creatures.
Yeah, like it's a special ship. It's not just a standard. Like there was a lot of creativity that was put into this movie.
If you know, like whaling ships, and they would drop the boats, and they would go, row out, and they would harpoon the whales, and get them tired and drag them to the boat, and then do the processing. If anyone's read Moby Dick, it goes through all that process. Every other chapter is basically history on whaling.
I fell asleep every time I tried to read Moby Dick in high school. I just couldn't do it.
Got to get through it.
It was the only book I never read.
Every year there's an audio reading. I think there's a society where they do a 24-hour reading of Moby Dick, and they take turns. Everybody,
and people stay awake for it.
Oh yeah. I'll link it in the show notes for people who want to watch.
Better than I am.
But if you think about all the very interesting equipment that was very specific to the act of whaling, they took that same idea here with the Seabeast, and they said, okay, what if we actually had a ship that hunted these sea monsters? I mean, if you remember the old maps, that if on the edge of the world they would draw little monsters. There were beasts that lived there, and that was kind of the idea of the movie. And if you could imagine what they would do to a boat to outfit it to actually hunt these like giant serpentine, type of monsters and kaiju type of monsters in the ocean, they outfitted the boat with all these cool contraptions, and how these guys would hook themselves to the boats, and all the spears that they would use, and these huge, contraptions that they would use to hunt these hunt these monsters down, and how they would prove that they caught the monster by cutting the horns off and things like that. And it's just, they really embraced the idea, and they said, what in the world building was very authentic.
Yeah, it was such a creative story.
Yeah,
and it was great. It had lots of action and adventure. There was heartwarming moments. There were some funny moments. It caught, I know that both of our kids, our 3-year-old and our 6-year-old, were mesmerized by this movie from start to finish. Nobody fell asleep during this. Everyone was just totally locked in. It was a great time. I mean, it was a really good movie. Yeah. I thought it was great, and I think I liked it. I think I liked it more than Chip 'n Dale. I really liked it.
I did too. Like, I think Chip 'n Dale was somewhere in the 80s tomato rating. Like, if you want to gauge it there, I think Seabeast was like in the upper 90s. It's like 96 or 95.
Yeah, it was just a really well done movie.
It's going to be I think it'll be up for best animated feature at the Oscars this year.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I know that our kids played pirates for days afterwards after watching that movie. It was really good on Netflix. So we highly recommend both of these movies. They were both great. I think that Seabeast, if you've got some kids that are a little bit on the younger side, you could probably do that too. I don't think there was anything really scary in it, was there? There wasn't
super scary. There was like a few moments of peril. In the whirlpool scene.
There was some peril. There was a little bit of peril. So yeah, I think that would be the only thing that if you're, our 3-year-old has no problem. I thought I talked to somebody the other day that they tried to watch like Finding Nemo with their kiddo, and they just couldn't do it even with their 5-year-old, because there's just like they're in peril the whole time.
Yeah, the first like half hour, 40 minutes of the movie, there are a few scenes of them like hunting the sea monsters. And there's a scene with the captain kind of falls in the water scene.
Yeah, there's
a little bit of peril. There's a little bit of peril there.
If that's something that your kids aren't good with, I know it like totally doesn't phase our 3-year-old. She was like totally fine with it. But
Mommy, what's happening? What the monster doing?
Yeah. But otherwise, if your kiddos are okay with that and they like action and adventure, then we really enjoyed the Seabeast as a family.
Absolutely. So Chip 'n Dale's thumbs up from Homeschool Together.
Yep.
Double thumbs up.
I think it was really good.
And Seabeast is a must watch.
I think it's a must watch. You definitely check it out. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook, and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time,
happy homeschooling!